So we are back for another relegation discussion, and as I have no skin in the game, I will be the neutral host today. So welcome to all the platforms. We got Nikki from West Ham Fan TV. How are you, Nikki?
Was better before the weekend, but yes, I'm all right. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Not so much of a disaster, so yeah, I'm good.
We got the deluded too. I don't know, is it Tom and Jerry with the butthead? I don't know, man. Celebrating draws, whipping their shirts off. How are you, Ben and Sim?
You're doing all right, man. I'm actually, you call us the deluded too. I'm feeling a lot more better after the weekend. I know we conceded in the last minute, but seeing the West Ham result and the West Ham performance, I felt a bit more confident after this weekend. And by the way, I'm not having that he has no skin in this game, man. I'm not having that.
No, I agree with you there. I agree with you. There's a little bit left, but 5 points may just be a bit too much.
As you put it lovely yesterday, Ben, Forest are not out the woods yet.
They're not out the woods yet. They're not. Sunderland away this weekend. If Spurs can pick up 3 points against Wolves, then they're right back in it.
All right, we'll get into it all. Boys. Make sure you subscribe to everyone. Make sure you guys have hit the like button and the hype button. The links, I'm sure, will be in the description. West Ham Fan TV, We Are Tottenham TV, or We Are Championship TV, should I say, and Forest Fan TV. But let's start with the Spurs game, because I actually thought you played well. And I remember sitting here with you boys when Lawless was doing it last week, saying I got a bad feeling about this weekend. Again, I was right. I thought you'd get a draw. I didn't think you'd get a draw by conceding in the 94th minute when you were 2-1 up. Like, the performance was a lot better. But surely you can look at that game both ways and think 2 points dropped rather than a point gained. How are you boys looking at it?
Yeah, I think definitely at the final whistle, it felt like 2 points dropped for sure, because when you're 2-1 up, conceding in the 95th minute, especially when we were celebrating as wildly as we did with the goal, Xavi Simon's goal, to put us in the lead, taking his top off, jumping in the crowd. It definitely felt like that was it. Like when that goal went in, when Rutter scored, like I think the emotion you saw at the end of the game, the players dropping to the floor, it felt like, oh God, this is it. Oh, we're going down now. We didn't get the result. But I think after the weekend, you can look in hindsight, look at the point in a bit of a different way, and the fact that because West Ham dropped points, we'll get into that later, that it's not, the point isn't too damaging. I think definitely when you're looking at it now in hindsight, the fact that we performed a lot better than we have done, the improvements we've seen in at least a game under De Zerbi is extremely encouraging. Definitely having Bentancur back with Basuma, having Xavi back in the team, made a massive difference. It made a massive difference. And you got to remember, Brighton were the form team in the Premier League going into this game. So we were expecting a very tough game. I was expecting to get turned over before the weekend. So the fact that we were minutes away from winning, that's like a positive in itself. Definitely a missed opportunity, because we're now sitting here. If we would have won that game, we would be sitting here outside the relegation zone. So looking at that, we are gutted that we didn't win the game. And I think most Spurs fans obviously are very, very disappointed that we conceded that last-minute winner. But you have to say we looked a lot better going forward. I think we created so many chances. I think definitely the game hinged on moments in the game. Xavi hitting the post at 1-0. If that's 2-0, the game is probably finished there. We conceded in stoppage time in both halves, which is very frustrating. Maybe a show of lack of mentality. That mistake from Danso for the second goal as well was absolutely gutting. Xavi going down with cramp, and basically us playing with 10 men for 10 minutes because we used all our subs. There was a lot of stuff that just kind of went against us on the day, which maybe on another day would have gone for us. But I think after now all is said and done, all of us three having played, I think we can probably take the positives more than being too gutted that we dropped 2 points, I think, by and large, I would say.
Look, I think it's mainly on how Spurs actually played, because for the last 3 months, we've been beaten pretty much before we get onto the pitch. Spurs are going to lose the game, and we showed fight, we showed grit. I'm not going to say we showed mentality, because we conceded in stoppage time in both halves, in the first half and the second half, which shows, that soft underbelly. But I saw big performances from players which haven't been showing that over the past 3 months, and that gives me a bit of positivity.
The only thing I would say is I watched the game, obviously. The only thing I thought Simmons was excellent on the day. I thought he was your best player. He looked dangerous. He looked like the player you wanted to buy and the player you've been expecting to turn up all season. But the only thing I would say is, although it was a gritty performance and the amount of chances you conceded within the last sort of 10 minutes where you're supposed to be fighting tooth and nail. There was one just before they scored when the guy was just on the back post. And if he'd have put that right across the back of the goal, that's 2-2. And they've got another 5 minutes to go on and get the winner. And I think they would have. And that is the only thing. I thought there was good performances. Listen, you're going to be... I heard Maddison came back and he was in the squad. So I think that's a massive boost. And if he, you haven't got time, unfortunately, to sort of bed him back in. You've got to chuck him back in and hope that he's going to hit the ground running. But there was times at Spurs, and I'll go on to West Ham in a minute because I thought West Ham showed very similar traits as it happens, where they just didn't seem like they could create much. Both goals came from their mistakes. The goalkeeper, and then getting caught.
They also came from big quality from Spurs, though. That Javi Simmons dink into Pedro Porro.
Great goal.
The finish as well.
Yeah,
and
great goal.
High pressing, a lot of energy,
Yeah.
The first one came from the press and Brighton overplayed.
It wasn't an unforced error, was it? It wasn't an unforced error. It was an error.
I see that, boys, as an anomaly. Not the way you were playing, is the opponents you're playing against. I don't see, for example, Wolves this weekend trying to play it out from the back in the high risk way that Brighton did. I think De Zerbi knows that club. He knows their DNA. Obviously, he's managed them. So I thought that's why I've said to you guys last week, I thought I had a bad feeling about this one because he'll know their strengths, he'll know their weaknesses. But having said that, there was a definite marked improvement. But what I will caveat that with, it don't mean shit. Because right now, performances are not important.
100%.
I have seen impressive Tottenham performances before, and they've gone on to lose.
Yeah.
Not this season, mate.
I've seen a couple. But, at the end of the day, it's about getting over the line.
You know what, Nicky, what you're saying about Spurs conceding the chance in the last 10 minutes? You're coming up against a very good attacking Brighton side, who are probably the form team in the Premier League but they just smashed Chelsea last night. Could have been way more than 3 goals. Looking at our fixtures, I don't think we're going to come up as good of an attacking side as that for the rest of the season.
We're playing with 10 men.
But does that help you or hinder you, Ben? That's the thing for me. I think De Zerbi plays well against a almost
free-flowing team,
we punch kind of team than he would against a low blocky team, if you get what I mean. Do you think that will help you or hinder you?
The thing is, right, he needs to use the tools he has at his disposal to the best he can. And Javi Simmons, a massive improvement from him. And you're looking at play. I don't want to see Kolo Muani in a Spurs shirt again. The guy is terrible, man. Matisse Tell straight away in 15 minutes showed a lot more than him. And there's no point playing him. You've got Dom Solanke, who was decent on the day. We've got attacking players that can hurt oppositions. We do. So it's just about using them to their strengths. De Zerbi, we know he's a good attacking coach, can attack good attacking systems. And we've seen a big improvement from the first game to the second game. So if we carry on seeing that level of improvement, then I think Spurs will get those wins.
You know who I think was your man of the match? I know Nicky said Javi Simmons, but I thought Bentancur made a massive
he was my man of the match as well.
In that midfield for me. You had a player who was able to kind of link the defense into the attack, and I was quite impressed by him. But obviously, he's just coming back from an injury, isn't he? So his legs went after 60 odd minutes.
It wasn't just that
would be important for you in the running.
100%, but it wasn't just that. Having Bentancur in that middle of the park gave us that bit of composure that we just haven't had for so long. Everyone's just so young, so erratic, million miles an hour. He's just, he can slow it down and he can speed it up at the right moments. So I think Bentancur is a massive plus for us.
Yeah, and then so at that stage, I think you guys had played first, and then we were playing on the Sunday, and then obviously West Ham on the Monday night. So you're coming out that game probably feeling a little hurt, 2 points dropped at the time. Yeah. Then I see you two were shameless and did yourselves a hate along for Forest against Burnley. Good timing on it, by the way, because thanks for helping us to score. Forest win 4-1. Quite comfortably in the end after absolutely playing shit in the first half. We were unbelievably bad. Pereira makes a very good tactical change, switching Gibbs White out onto the left, which we haven't seen before. Suddenly he's changed his boots at halftime and gone from can't shoot to can't stop scoring. and Forest come away at 4-1. And I kind of just want to transition this into the West Ham game, Nicky, because you, for the first time, were playing after both of us, whereas most weeks, because we've had European football, Spurs, the Sky Darlings, you've ended up playing first on a lot of the weekends. Did you think going into that was a help or a hindrance to West Ham?
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like playing so long after. Although it's good to see what you've got to do, but I think that's been our problem. When we know what we've got to do, we can't fucking do it. And that's been the issue all season. I think going into it and thinking, right, we need to get a result and see where we are at the end of it is I think our hindrance. I think that's Nuno's hindrance as well, because Nuno looks at that, right, and I would attest to this for the game. He looks at it and goes, a point to do now. We don't need to get more than a point, which is the wrong way to look at it. Because when I looked at that, the West Ham game and the way we play defensively, we're brilliant. Attacking wise, there is a lot of players lacking any sort of quality, including our darling Bowen. And I love Jared Bowen, and I love him to the day I die, because he gave me one of the best nights I've ever had. But fact of the matter is this: his stats, I think, tell a.
That's a mad line, man. One of the best nights of your life for Jared Bowen.
Well, my wife won't like to hear it, but but no, it's one of them ones where the stats tell a bit of a lie in terms of what I'm seeing on the pitch. Like, he's really struggling at the minute. And when you need to get that bit of quality, when you need someone to step up again, like he did in Prague, he doesn't seem to be able to do it. And then I'm looking at that the other day, and I'm looking at Crystal Palace are a tidy side. They left a lot of their players out, which I'm sure you boys were fuming with after their, but we just couldn't do anything. We defended brilliantly. We didn't really, apart from a couple of Johnson chances, we didn't really concede any chances. We had a massive chance ourselves, but that's the time when you've got to go for the jugular. At the end of the day, and I said this now, the difference between 1 point and 2 points and 1 point and 4 points at this stage of the season is fucking huge.
Yeah.
Right? 1 point and 2 points doesn't really make a difference. You're in the same position. 1 point and 4 points is a whole fucking different kettle of fish. The way Nuno sat there and just towards the end of the game, rather than going for it with like the likes of Traore has been playing very well, who can cause trouble. Crystal Palace are a little bit tired. He can get there, he can at least occupy a couple of defenders by his runs and stuff. He decided to take the striker off and put the midfielder on to secure the point. And I thought it was poor management from Nuno. And I think at the end of the season, if we get out of it by a point, it's genius. If we lose down by 2, he's a fool. So
I was watching that game. We were doing a hate along for that game as well.
Yeah.
Didn't go as wrong.
Fallen, mate.
Didn't go as that wrong for the Forest game. But I thought West Ham were the better team in the first half. But without creating too much, I did feel like whenever West Ham were going forward, it looked like something was going to happen. And I don't know if that was my anxiety watching the game or it was actually reality. But I thought after half time, West Ham just ran out of a bit of gas, and Palace were probably the more dominant side.
Yeah, which is which is poor really when you haven't had a game for 10 days. But I did say sometimes when you get a big win like the Wolves game, you want that football to continue. You want that football as quickly as you can. If we'd have had a midweek game that week, I thought we'd have done better than we did having 10 days off. I think, some of the players just looked a little bit leggy, which is a bit crazy. But I think it's rustiness, We've got to, and I mean got to, perform against a very, well-organised, probably I think they're the second best away team in the league this season, Everton. Robust. There's a lot of stories there. David Moyes coming back. He's going to want to prove a point. So we've got to find a win. Whereas I thought that was a bit of more of an opportunity. Listen, if we go out there and we lose it, it ain't that much of a fucking disaster. I know that sounds crazy because a draw's the same fucking result.
So you wouldn't have taken a draw before the game. You wouldn't have thought a draw was a good point.
No, it's a good point on the face of it. If you're sitting mid-table and you go away to Crystal Palace midweek and get a draw, I think it's a good result. If you're in a relegation battle, it doesn't make a fucking difference. I'd rather lose it going down fighting, missing 5 or 6 clear-cut chances than just not going for it. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I think you won't know until the end of the season how important
exactly.
or not that point is, and it's. I get what you're saying because like everyone saw Palace were on the piss, weren't they, at the weekend? So he's put out a weakened team to start that game as well, and I think that's probably why you're looking at it, Nicky, as a missed opportunity. It's like they weren't fighting for anything.
I took the positivities from a point, and I've said it all weekend, but I can definitely see, why people are frustrated because I think Nuno shit the bed there.
Yeah,
I felt like first half there, you definitely should have been in the lead in that first half. I felt you would, Van Mavropanos has that unbelievable chance. Henderson with the save. They had that overhead kick from Tati as well off the line.
Yeah.
I thought Somerville was causing Palace all sorts of problems. Somerville has been so electric over these past few weeks. You see, I agree with you, Nicky. Watching that game, Somerville is so much more threatening than Bowen. Like he can actually go past people, and I thought Canvo and Mitchell just locked Bowen down. He had nothing. He just couldn't take him on.
And they're not the two biggest lads today, so
worrying. Whereas Somerville, he was like taking the ball out, gliding past people, winning free kicks, creating chances. Like
whenever Somerville was on the ball, you thought something was going to happen. That's the reality.
But that was first. Second half, he was anonymous.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I thought, and I was saying this before the game when I saw the lineup. If it's still level once like Mateta, Sarr, and Kamada come on, then they've got a chance. I thought once those three came on, the momentum shifted in the game. All of a sudden, West Ham were pinned back a bit. They got a little bit scared of what Palace were doing. I thought before that, Johnson and Larson were not doing anything really, were they? And then once Mateta, Sarr come on, all of a sudden you see a more confident Palace. Palace actually dominating the ball a lot more. And look, they didn't create much. They had that one moment right at the end with the goal, which got ruled out rightly through the handball. We were celebrating that in the studio. Yeah. Well, handball.
Never a handball, mate. Never a handball.
He caught it.
That was a big moment in the game. And I tell you what, when you got that corner for the last kick of the game, we were absolutely shitting bricks here in the studio thinking if they get a goal here, that could be curtains for us. Because if it would have been 4 and 5 points difference with the form that we were on, despite the fact we had an improved performance, I think it would have looked
too much.
Being honest.
I think it's too much.
That's it. That's why it's a massive missed opportunity. I think for both clubs, for Spurs and for West Ham this weekend. Because massive opportunity for Spurs going 2-1 up, first win in so long, get out the relegation zone. We didn't do that. You had an opportunity to end this relegation battle.
Yeah. Well, you say that the way Chelsea are playing at the minute, you fancy to go there and turn them over. But it's one of them ones. You got Wolves. We've got to go into this game this weekend assuming you're going to beat Wolves. I think you've got to assume that you're going to beat. Well, I think you've got to assume you're going to beat anyone. The way
we're playing at the same time this week, aren't we?
Yeah, we're playing at the same time. Yeah, I won't be there. Funny enough, I'm not going to be.
You're not going to the game.
No, I'm working. I'm going to the FA Cup semi-final, so which is a kick up the bollocks for me because I should have been there on a Sunday anyway. But there we go. And the way Chelsea are playing, I would have fancied us as well. But so it's going to be. I'm sure it's going to be tense. I think it's going to be, great atmosphere inside that stadium, and I'm hoping that we can get something, but. Tough teams. But, as I said before, and I've said this to people on my channel who are having breakdowns, relegation battles are never fucking easy. You cannot ever assume you're going to pick up points when you think you're going to pick up points, and you cannot assume you're going to lose points when you assume you're going to lose points.
Yeah.
They're tough, and we're all down there for a fucking reason. So,
Nicky had a full crop of hair before he started getting
and an afro.
Exactly.
When Daniel Levy left Spurs, I was expecting the atmosphere to be crazy in the next game, and it kind of was. There was a big lift inside the stadium. Is it going to be any similarities with Karen Brady leaving the club?
I think it may be, because this. I mean, I was doing this yesterday, so we've been showing these at 15 minutes. That was a B. I've crossed it out because she's no longer there, so no more S. But we show them on 15 minutes every week. And it's been a huge, no matter what the results are, it's been a huge protest all season long and a couple of seasons now. And she's gone now. And I think that's going to lift a couple of people. But in terms of like what it does for the club, internally in the club, I don't know. You never know, do you? So, Levy left and you thought it may lift the club, may lift the supporters, may lift the players.
Now, yeah.
And it didn't really. So,
I thought it was all Levy's fault, though.
It takes time to implement real change, though, doesn't it? It's not going to happen overnight.
of course.
That's the reality.
Well, let's look ahead to what's coming up this week. So
We
Forest are
didn't really
playing.
touch on Nottingham Forest here because that was the worst 45 minutes I've seen from any of our clubs this weekend.
It
How
was
the hell did you
horrific.
even lose 4-1 that game?
I put it down to Pereira. I thought the team he selected was good enough. The players were, I think, nervous having seen what happened to Spurs the day before. I'm thinking, I almost think had Spurs won that game, Forest would have been on it from minute one. And I just think they felt a bit relaxed. Okay, we don't have to go out and then win this. Spurs crapped it up in the last minute. And then to go 1-0 down to a pathetic goal was almost embarrassing to Burnley. We were rubbish. Where I would have subbed the whole team off at halftime. I'd have sacked the whole team off at halftime. It was that bad. Second half, as I mentioned earlier, Pereira makes that tactical change and Forest just come to life. And I think we're going to see that going forward. I think he's, you could say accidentally or by genius, clicked onto a formation and a style that seems to work because we were creating chance after chance after chance and converting them as well, which has been very rare for us at home. So
should we have a look at
sorry, go on, Nicky.
Sorry, mate. We'll have a look at the stats. So this is the stats at the moment. The Opta stats about who's going to go down. So we're all in now. You want to read them out, Wolfie? I can't see them now.
Yeah, you got Leeds relegation percentage at 0.39. You got Forest at 4.36, I want to say. West Ham, 36.9. And then Spurs at 100%. I'm joking. 58.3, I think it says there. And then obviously Burnley and Wolves are down. I think Burnley will get officially odd, won't they, this weekend?
I think if they lose to Man City tonight.
It could be tonight. Yeah, so it is down to kind of 1 of 3, maybe 1 of 4, maybe 1 of 5. Some people are still saying Newcastle aren't safe.
Wolfie, just going back to Forest, also what you haven't touched on is Murillo picked up a bad injury, didn't he?
Murillo's not injured.
What do you mean he's not injured?
He's not injured.
He went off with a hamstring.
Yeah, he went out. Murillo does this all the time. Trust me, Murillo is fit.
Is that the word on the street, or?
Yeah, Murillo.
He definitely pulled up with his hamstring.
He did that against Porto. He's done this about 7 or 8 times before. I don't know what's going through the guy's head. To be honest, I don't want him injured, but I thought Jair Cunha is a more than adequate replacement. I really like the young Brazilian that came on. And I think actually that injury did cost us the first goal. If you notice, Milenkovic moved across to the left and Jair Cunha moved to the right, and it was very untidy for those couple of minutes before halftime. It wasn't until Pereira organized them back into their correct positions that we sorted ourselves out. So I expect Murillo to be fit, mate. Honestly, I've seen him do this a million times. He'll go for a scan. The scan will come clear, and he'll be back.
I've got to say this, though. I've got to say this. Looking at your fixtures, right? Apart from that Chelsea one, which looks like a fucking 3 points on a plate, it's a big couple of weeks for you. It is a big couple of weeks because a win either way can really drag you back in it.
Yeah, I think for me, the Sunderland game, Forest should go all out for it. Go for the win against Sunderland. If Forest were to get to 39 points, what that gives Forest is the freedom to then fully focus. I hate that word, but on the Europa League. If that's the case, then throw the Chelsea game. I couldn't give 2 shits about it. But we got a couple of backstops. I mean, Newcastle right now are in free fall. Absolutely free fall. We got them at home. So on paper, the names look bigger with Chelsea, Man U, Newcastle. But we've tended to do quite well against Man U, both home and away over the last season or 2. Yep. Newcastle, mixed record. Chelsea haven't beaten us at Stamford Bridge since we've been back. They struggle against us.
I think they'd struggle to beat the dog and duck.
I think under 15s could beat them right now.
Rossini might be gone by then, so it might be a different Chelsea.
I hope not, mate. I hope not.
Do you know what? I was talking about that, right? Just quickly. I was expecting them to sack him last night. They're going into the semi-final on Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't think they can.
Apparently, they still could, according to Sky. They're saying he's not certain. He's not certain to be in charge.
25 million to sack him. He signed like a contract till 2030 or 2031 or something.
Yeah, gave him a 5-year deal, didn't they? Ridiculous.
They can't afford to sack him. Have you seen their balance sheets?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
It's horrific. I think they reassess come the end of the season. They're not getting Champions League. Even if they beat Leeds, they won't beat Man City or Southampton.
But right now, they're going to finish bottom half of the table the way it's going.
I hope so.
It's one
well,
win.
I want them in the conference. I want them in the conference. They can go and piss around in the conference again.
I don't even think they're fucking going to get in the conference.
I know, but I'm saying I'd love them back in the conference. That's kind of where
it's
they
actually
belong.
worse for them to be in the Conference League.
That's my point.
Because that means they're beholden to UEFA financial restrictions, which are even more stringent.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I think we probably get something out of Chelsea. I don't know about this Sunderland game, if I'm honest with you. It depends. Like Forest, I don't know if you guys are aware, the third most informed team right now in the league.
Yeah.
So we're
two wins and 3 draws.
Yeah, and that's put us third. That shows you how shit the league is right now. But our form is pretty damn good. And I think Pereira will have them up for this Sunderland game. I feel like it's either a loss or a win. I don't think there's the in-between draw one in this one.
It's got draw written all over it, isn't it?
I don't know.
Sunderland and Forest on the exact same form in the last 5 games.
Yeah, should be a good game. A good game. But I'm not too worried about this one. My thing with this is win it and then focus on the Europa League. I don't think Spurs will get to 39 points.
Are you calm about this then? You think you're definitely staying up?
No. I've seen Forest shit the bed from worse positions than this. But I just don't know if I can see. I hate to say this, Nicky, man, but that Palace result has worried me big time. Because I think you've got the harder fixtures out of the 3 of us. I think some of your fixtures are a little worrying.
I think it's statistically we have. I think statistically we've got the harder fixtures, but we've got 3 at home.
But I think European football is going to play a significant part in this for you, Wolfie. You know, with that Chelsea game right in between the 2 European semi-finals. If you don't win this weekend against Sunderland, I think it could get a bit.
I think European football could affect us all because you've got. I think someone's got Villa in between that. I think you've got Villa.
We do, yeah.
Yeah. So you've got them in between that. They need to wrap that up first game for us to have any hope of them going into the second leg, because at the end of the day,
we'll be out, Nicky, first game. Don't forget that scenario.
Yeah, so like we have to fucking balance the books, so to speak. You know what I mean? Who the fuck do you cheer for? Because if they've got it wrapped up, they might beat Spurs, but then that means you can fully concentrate on it. It's just weird. It's just a weird situation, the way that everything's panned out. I'm hoping that Leeds beat Chelsea in the semi-final on Sunday, because Leeds then can go on a beach, and then Chelsea will have to fight for a European. But it's weird the way you've got these situations that could all.
I wouldn't worry about it too much of Emery. He tends to play excuse me, a strong team even once they played in Europe.
Yeah.
So if you look at the quarterfinals, they played Bologna in the first leg, 3-1 up, comfortable. He still went full strength. I can't remember who they played.
But they could also, Wolfie, have Champions League football wrapped up, I believe, by the time they get to
with Chelsea shit.
They're 8 points above Brighton in 6th.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's enough of a buffer.
With the game in hand as well.
And 6th could be Champions League if they win this.
And this is why I just feel the results of the weekend obviously suited Forest the best, but out of you two, even though you drew late on, I think the pendulum, it just felt like there was a little momentum swing towards Spurs, if I'm being honest. And I hate to say it. I just think had West Ham won, it would have been better for Forest as well, because that gap is huge then for Spurs to anyone. And your morale would be down and you'd be thinking more about that last minute equalizer than you are now, because you're probably looking at it thinking, okay, even though we came out, we should have won the game. We're a net neutral for where we were going into it versus West Ham. Okay, you lost 2 points on us, but you don't need to overtake both teams. You just need to overtake one.
Do you know what I would say as well? And Tottenham have got to be very careful this weekend, because once a team gets that burden of relegation,
100%.
They're in the last couple of home games now. There's going to be players leaving. They're going to be on the last legs, and they're going to just go out there and fucking do whatever. And sometimes that
their record of Molineux is shit as well.
Well, you say that, but they've beaten Liverpool and Villa in their last 2 home games.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. And your record at Molineux.
Our record, yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't beaten Wolves since like 2021 or something.
They've come up with some massive results this season. The Arsenal result, the Liverpool result, the Villa result. They're big results. And they're fucking, they battered us at Molineux. Battered us.
I actually think you draw that game. I don't think you win it. I think the problem with Spurs and your fan base this season is when you've seen a green shoot, you've like grown a beanstalk out of it. You haven't even let it.
We're so hungry, Wolfie. We need something.
I get it, man, but let the fruit produce itself from. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I remember you doing this recently against. I mean, the only team to celebrate going out of the Champions League that I can remember memory.
It was our first win in 2026. We had to celebrate something.
Only win.
I remember you did this again. So it was the game for Liverpool. You were celebrating the last minute draw, and you seen these shoots and everything. And then we came around your bus parade and slapped you at the end of that week. And there's been a lot of these things with Spurs throughout the season. And I get it and I hear it. And we all do it, right? You're not unique in your fan base to it. But I just think the best thing you guys can do, because I don't think your team deals well with pressure, is not build the pressure up on them to say guaranteed 3 points, if that makes sense, which is what I feel a lot of your fan base is doing, right? We beat Wolves. Where else can we get points? Like, let it play out, see what happens this weekend. Wolves, like we just talked about, they turned over Liverpool. They turned over Villa. They've had that arse, so they're going to be playing with a bit of freedom. I think there's going to be a bit of pride with them saying, look, we're playing Spurs. We might as well take them down with us. What I will say, if you don't win this weekend,
it's over.
It was nice knowing you.
Yeah, 100%. If Spurs don't win this weekend, it's over.
Also, on the flip side, if we do win, I would say I'd put money on if we do win. I reckon we end the weekend outside the relegation zone.
It's fair.
Because if we do win, well, I think West Ham have to beat Everton, don't they? If we win.
have to, to stay out of it,
So, and I don't know if you will. I mean, I wouldn't say you lose, but I think a draw or a loss is probably more likely than a win for West Ham, because Everton have got a lot fighting on the line at the moment. They're fighting for Europe, and they're obviously a very decent team. They have got a couple of injuries, but Everton's a very difficult game. And I think West Ham
handed him out, isn't it? And he's going to come back and think
Moyes, David Moyes sticking the knife in, twisting the knife. I wouldn't be surprised. So I think going into this weekend, I'd probably much rather be playing Wolves away than Everton at home, I would say.
Of course. Anyone would. But I'm just saying from experience, it's sometimes they're capable of these fucking freak performances. They go and get battered every week, and then all of a sudden they pull out a result somewhere. There's no more team more dangerous than when they've already been fucking relegated, because now they've got nothing to play for, nothing. And that is when, you're going to be fucking full of nerves, and they're just thinking, well, fuck it, whatever happens.
They have
happened last season to us. Happened last season to us. Leicester was good as relegated. I think they were relegated. We just needed to beat them to get into the Champions League. 2-1 up, and we shit the bed and draw 2-2. So it's not unusual for it to happen. I think I see this weekend. Let's move on to the fixtures this weekend, boys.
What one do you want to look at, mate, first?
Huh?
Who do you want to look at? Tottenham's?
We got... should we start chronologically? Because we're playing first.
Okay.
We're playing first.
Friday night, isn't it? Yeah.
Friday night. I think Forest put a statement down. It'd be fantastic. I think Forest will win this. I think we'll
win. You think go to Sunderland and win?
I think we will win this. I think Sunderland, for me, are as close to calling them a beach team as you can with anyone in this league, because apparently everyone can still get into Europe. They're only a couple of points off the European spots. And that late loss against Villa, I think, will have harmed them. I think Forest will go away and get a result here.
If Sunderland win this game, they go straight into 7th.
Well, until the rest of the fixtures play out. But not everyone's going to end up with Europe. Some of these mid-40 teams are going to have to crack at some point. Do you know what I mean? So I think we can get something and a win out of this. So I'm going for a Forest win on this one.
Score?
I think 1-0, 2-1. Nothing big.
I think Sunderland are going to win this. I think Sunderland are really good in their last 3 games. Even in the loss against Villa, they clawed it back from 3-1 to 3-3, ultimately bottling it at the end. But they showed some really good signs in that game as well. Beat Spurs and beat Newcastle in the game before that. So, I mean, they're on a good run of form. So I'm going to go for 1-0 to Sunderland.
I'm going to go 0-0. I think it's going to be a goalless draw, ball draw. 2 teams who don't play the best football. And I think they're going to cancel each other out in this game. Sunderland very good defensively. Forest, I think, going away from home, knowing that a point is probably a good point in this context, I think it's going to be 0-0.
Yeah, I hear that.
I'm going to say 2-0 Sunderland.
2-0.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
I think there's going to be a couple of eyes on that semis, mate. I'm afraid.
I think it favours us being on a Friday night because that gives us nearly a full week.
Of course it does. Yeah. That's worked out well for you.
Yeah, for the Villa game, not even the context of our battle. I mean, for the
Are some Nottingham Forest players going to go into that though, being like, "Oh, I don't want to get injured for that semi-final"?
That's it. That's what I'm saying. So.
If footballers think like that, then they.
And also, Wolfie, if you do lose and Spurs win, all of a sudden that's 3 points, isn't it? So all of a sudden it's not crazy amount. You're right back in it.
Yeah. We're not out of this.
2 points. It's 5 points. Yeah.
2 points.
Yeah, it'll be 2 points. Yeah. Look, it's not Forest are not out of this at all, but we're in a very strong position.
Yeah.
I just have a feeling that the message from Pereira will be go out there, win it, and we can then focus on the Europa League. I think that to me makes more logical sense than saying let's kick this one down the road, get the points on the board, get it done.
Yeah, that's what you've got to do. That's what
you got to do. And I just think watching Sunderland in their last home game, which was ironically against you boys, I didn't think they were that great. If I'm being honest with you, I didn't think there was too much there. So that's why I think we have a good chance on this. I've seen Forest fuck up plenty of times, so I wouldn't be surprised. But I just feel that the message, the form we're in, we haven't lost in the last 5 games, 3rd in the form table. There's a bit of momentum and a bit of wind in our sails right now. But obviously, I've got red tinted goggles on this one. So we've got a win, a loss, and a draw. You're both playing at the same time. So what have you got? You got the Spurs one. Spurs Wolves. I fancy a draw here. I'm just gonna put my neck on the line. I don't think Wolves' style will suit De Zerbi, and I think they will be playing with a bit more relaxed. They'll be a bit more relaxed, a bit more freedom. I think a draw, and I don't actually think a draw is that bad as long as you don't lose. But I think a draw. It smells to me like a draw.
I think Tottenham win this. I'm going to be honest. I think Tottenham win this. I think they'll put up a good fight, Wolves. And this is all depending on who gets the first goal, I think. Because Wolves, when they came to our place, they looked handy. You know, they look like they've got a bit about them. You know, they're a lot better than they were. But once that first goal went in, game over. It was total collapse. And, you know, but I think Tottenham get the first goal. I think they win 2-0, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think Spurs are going to win. I think it's going to be 2-1. I think that we are showing improvements under De Zerbi. I think the players are buying into what he's trying to do. I think they look more excited, a little more energetic. I do think the dynamic with Xavi, Bentancur back in the team is really going to help. And look, as much as these teams can be dangerous, don't get me wrong, don't take the Wolves away for granted. They are already relegated. They are bottom of the league, and they're there for a reason. I think if Tottenham do get in the lead, I really struggle to see Wolves having that real absolute fight to get back in it. And I think Tottenham are going to obviously take nothing for granted here. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Spurs.
Yeah, obviously this game just means so much more for Tottenham than it does for Wolves. I think with Wolf, you were saying that momentum shift. And I genuinely believe that. I agree with him. I think there has been. And if we can take that fight, take that passion into this Wolves game, which I believe we're going to, and show a bit of improvements and a bit more solidity, I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs. But I don't like this, that 3 of us are predicting Spurs wins. I don't like that at all.
No, what you shouldn't like is that I've been right on all your results in recent weeks, bro. That's what you shouldn't like.
Right. So we go into the last ones.
This is the hardest one to predict, I think, this weekend. I can see 1 of 3, which makes me feel a draw, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm feeling a draw as well. I think it's going to be 0-0. I think it's West Ham have been good solid defensively. Everton, good defensive side as well. Very good away side. And I just feel you guys just going to cancel each other out. I don't think anyone's going to have the attacking prowess to break each other down. Everton missing Beto, who's been in good form.
And Branthwaite.
And Branthwaite in the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, I think this has got 0-0 all over it.
Yeah, I was going to go with an Everton win. I was thinking 1-0 Everton. But then with those 2 injuries, it is quite significant. Like Barry and I don't know who else are going to come in for Branthwaite. It's probably not quite as good a fit. So I'm going to go for 1-1. I don't think West Ham win. I really don't think West Ham win.
I think Branthwaite's out, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Branthwaite and Beto, we were just saying, and those are two big misses. Beto's been in really good form in the last few weeks, so he's a massive miss. So I think because of that, I think West Ham probably get a point out of it. But I'd be very impressed if West Ham actually win this game.
I think we'll win.
Go on, Nicky. Go on, Nicky.
I think we're going to squeeze it 2-1. A couple of Somerville goals. Well, I think we just
Somerville
need it. We just need it. And I think there's going to be a big, I think crowd-wise, I think because Brady's gone, there's going to be a huge buzz around that ground. And I think it's going to lift the place. So, yeah, I think we win.
What's his face? Nuno did struggle against Moyes. I'll say to you at Forest.
We'll see.
Yeah, so that's my only worry about it. He struggles with that. But, okay, so, boys, what does that mean? Has anyone changed their mind on who's going down?
Well, two weeks ago when we all did this together, we all said Leeds were going down.
No, I didn't. No, don't put me in the same brush with you, boys. I didn't. I said Spurs.
You're down here with us, Wolfie. You can't escape. Come on.
Yeah, no, but I still think Spurs. I think for me, I'm still going to stick with Spurs, but I am more worried about West Ham.
I think it goes down to the last game.
Yeah,
it does.
And I
If
think
it does, West Ham stay up.
Yeah.
Yeah, West Ham
I think,
stay up.
well, when we first did the stream, obviously De Zerbi had just joined, hadn't he? But we hadn't seen Tottenham play, and we hadn't seen Tottenham play well in bloody 3 months. So the fact we've actually got a good performance, we've got a good point. I think there's reasons to be hopeful, and I think I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, we're now on upward trajectory and we're definitely going to stay up now." But until we win a game, I still think Tottenham are definitely the favourites to go down. Until that, we got that monkey off our back. But if we do win this weekend, I think we stay up.
You say you don't want to
whose
say we're
expense?
up with trajectory. You've said it without saying it because you predicted us to win this week.
Yeah, at whose expense? as
Hopefully,
well?
if we win, then we will be on an upward trajectory. We're not here not yet. But I think there's signs of it, and if we get that win on the weekend, then there's evidence of it. There's a difference between signs and evidence.
That's a lovely monologue, but at whose expense?
West Ham.
West Ham.
Yeah, I think West Ham are going to go down.
Yeah, I'm undecided, man. I really think Forest can be dragged all the way back into this.
You
Just
want
because of,
Forest dragged back in, is what you.
well, yeah, I do. I'm desperate for Forest to go down, to be fair, just because of the whole thing in the summer with Marinakis and you, Wolfie. Not going to lie, but
the way football gets these little fucking subscripts and these narratives going, it's crazy, isn't it? So the Kudus thing, the Mick Morgan Gibbs White thing,
it's like only Spurs as well can. About to get Eze, about to get Gibbs White. Eze dunks 5 on us and can't score against anyone else this season. And then Gibbs White potentially scoring a hat-trick to maybe send us down. It's just
and scored against you.
Shit. And scored. You just can't write this shit, man.
No, there we go.
Cool. All right.
You
Did you
got
get
it
yours, Nicky?
What am I doing?
Who's going down?
Going to go down? Oh, Tottenham. I've got to say Tottenham. Who the fuck else am I going to say?
Let us know in the comments who you think's going to go down. Okay, and if it doesn't start with a T or an S, then don't write it. Make sure you've liked, make sure you subscribe. Big up to all the boys. Hope you enjoyed this, and let's see who's got chest next week when we record this one again.
Squeaky bum time, boys. Squeaky bum time.